This video will demonstrate some little known features of d7x, this being the Windows Activation Assistant. As you can see right here, I have a version of Windows that's not activated. And at login, we're nagged that we need to activate. Just do ask me later, of course. And you can see down on the bottom right, we have our copy of Windows is not genuine. And what I want to show you in d7x right now is up here under the internal menu, the Windows Activation Assistant. I may actually put this under the d7x Tools tab in the future. Okay, currently in our Windows Activation Assistant, it does say Windows is activated. This is actually a copy of Windows, and it has a product key here. This is actually a copy of Windows. I never entered in a product key. And this copy of Windows has been rearmed. In other words, the activation period has been reset several times. And that's just what I wanted to show you in this video. This is a copy I actually use that is just for testing purposes only, so in a virtual machine. In the activation interface here, we have a number of options, and several of them do the same thing. For one, we can display the activation wizard, which we would see if we had chosen Activate Now at the login screen. We can also activate Windows if the key is already installed. That's using SLMGR. The command line for each of these items, if there is a command line, is shown below the button. So this actually tells you how you can do this without d7x. We can force phone activation using SLUI4. We can activate an upgrade key from a full install. And that's actually been helpful for people who've had in the past, and you don't see this much anymore, Windows upgrade key, and the tech does a clean full installation. You can activate Windows Online using the WMI method. And here's the thing that I'm actually going to show you today, reset activation grace period. This runs two commands, the slmgr /RILC and slmgr /rearm. And I just call it rearming Windows. It rearms the activation period. We can also change the product key using two different methods. There's an SLUI method, which is your SLUI is your activation wizard, just in case that wasn't apparent. And the SLMGR is actually a VBS script in the Windows System 32 or buried in there somewhere. And we can also change the product key using that script. And it shows you the two commands that you would use down here. You can also start the software licensing service if it's not started. Like it says, it's only necessary if you're receiving service not started messages when you're trying to do something like display the activation wizard. We can suppress activation nags. That will actually take care of some of these nags, like here in a minute we would see a pop-up about the updates not working, and it would suppress the activation nag during startup, although it won't get rid of the lower right-hand corner, this copy of Windows is not genuine. We can display license information, which if I were to click that, it will actually show you this is Windows 7 Ultimate retail copy, partial product key. License status notification basically just means that it's in the notification period where it's just telling you, hey, I'm not activated. The notification reason is grace time expired, and that's exactly why we have a black desktop. And you'll notice that you can't change your desktop, or I can't recall if you can actually change it, but it will change it back when you log in. So that doesn't save. And finally, we can just launch our system properties because I needed another button here for some reason. To make an even 12. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the reset activation grace period right now. We'll just do that. What this is going to do is it's going to give you an extra 30 days. You'll actually get a large pop-up There is an OK button at the bottom. Just hit enter. And it'll tell you to restart for the changes to take effect. We'll have to restart through D7 since it's preventing Windows from rebooting itself. Now we should be able to log in without the activation nag. And you'll see down on the bottom right-hand corner that the Windows is not genuine message is gone. And we will be able to change our theme and have it stick. And the theme will stick after login and not go back to the black desktop. And there you have it. We now have a copy of Windows that's been rearmed with a new activation period. This activation period will last for 30 days. You can actually perform the rearm up to 4 times. After your initial 30-day activation period, you can then use this 4 times to extend an additional 120 days, giving you 150 days in total to use a copy of Windows without the activation nags. That's very useful when you're doing product testing or similar things, such as testing for viruses, malware, you're practicing your removal skills, teaching new technicians how to work on systems, etc. This is also going to be very useful if you are having trouble activating Windows and you can't get the activation to work. Using the several different activation methods that we have here, you should be able to get activation to work or get Windows to take a product key that it otherwise wouldn't because of some other software problem. Hope that's been of some help.